The world's youngest head of state, Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, is grappling with persistent coup attempts. The latest plot was announced by the government on Monday night. Since coming to power in September 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traore has faced several attempts to overthrow him. On the latest foiled attempt, Burkinabe Security Minister Mahamadou Sana said that the country's intelligence services had intercepted communications on a major plot for an assault on the presidency on April 16th. It is said the plot was orchestrated from Abidjan, the capital of neighboring Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire has not commented publicly on the matter.
Well, the latest is just around about the same time as General Langley was saying that, and around about the same time as protests suddenly organically sprung up in France calling for Ibrahim Traore's arrest, there was yet another coup attempt foiled in Burkina Faso. A significant coup attempt targeting the leadership of Burkina Faso has been thwarted, according to an announcement by Security Minister Mahamadou Sana. Is it Sana or Sana on national television? Let me know in the comments below. The foul plot involves several active military personnel and former members of the armed forces. And as you can see there, it was planned for around April the 16th, just a few days before Langley was saying his script on the Senate floor.
Family, it's becoming more tougher even as days are going by for Captain Ibrahim Traore. They are plotting to assassinate him. You know, there's been also several attempts for coups. Some people who are even doing these coups are members, you know, of the militia and some former members of the same armed forces, you know, in Burkina Faso. And at this point in time, we know that these people are sponsored by the West. These people want to get rid, you know, of the best leader in Africa and even in the world. Even as we are planning, you know, to go to the streets of every country that black men and women are in, let us also remember to put President Ibrahim Traore in our prayers, because the West has always been scared of vocal leaders. The West have always been scared of leaders who are not giving in to their demands, leaders who do not want to be their puppets like Ibrahim Traore. I say this in my previous video and I'll ask again, what are the heads of states of African countries saying in this time? We haven't seen any head of state apart from the Salem states, you know, talking about what is happening right now with the condition of Captain Ibrahim Traore. And I am wondering, what are the world leaders saying? What is the Kenyan president saying? What is the Ugandan president, Ghanaian president, you know, the president of Morocco? Let's go straight down to Tanzania, all the way to South Africa. What is the head of states talking about? What is the AU saying in this point in time? You already noticed that the AU is also part and parcel, you know, of these Western powers, because they are not talking about issues that are affecting us as a people, issues that is affecting a member, you know, of the African Union. Family, I want us to delve deeper into this video and get to understand how many times they've been plotting, you know, for a coup in Burkina Faso. So let us watch this video. Once this series of videos are done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. Let's watch this together, family.
Just need to do a quick update on this guy, Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. Because you remember how yesterday I did a video on how the United States General Michael Langley was in Congress saying this?
Absolutely, Chairman. You know, I see this and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain Traore and Burkina Faso, you know, as they know that both, you know, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime.
Many of you in that video were pointing out how he stuttered all the way through that sentence. I mean, he provided no evidence of what he was saying, did he? It was almost like he didn't really believe what he was saying. Well, the latest is just around about the same time as General Langley was saying that, And around about the same time as protests suddenly organically sprung up in France, calling for Ibrahim Traore's arrest, there was yet another coup attempt foiled in Burkina Faso. A significant coup attempt targeting the leadership of Burkina Faso has been thwarted, according to an announcement by Security Minister Mahamadou Sanaa. Is it Sanaa or Sanaa on national television? Let me know in the comments below. The failed plot involves several active military personnel and former members of the armed forces. And as you can see there, it was planned for around April the 16th, just a few days before Langley was saying his script on the Senate floor. These Western nations, their leaders, are showing Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, and the sovereignty of these countries in Africa absolutely no respect whatsoever. Just listen to the way Macron talked about Ibrahim Traore just a few months ago and how Traore responded.
He also insulted all Africans.
I think they forgot to say thank you to us. It's not a big deal. It will come with time.
There is a part that caught my attention where he talked about ingratitude.
Gratitude, I am well aware, is a non-transmissible disease to humans.
He is human. Our ingratitude is not transmissible to him. This is how this gentleman sees Africa, sees Africans. We are not human. In his eyes, I think that if he is not an atheist and he prays, every morning when he wakes up and prays, he should also pray to the Africans. Because it is thanks to our ancestors that there is a France today. He should pray to us.
Yes, that's right. Macron, after decades of France basically stealing the reserves and the gold from Burkina Faso, they still hold some of Burkina Faso's gold, by the way, and won't give it back. He says that Burkina Faso and Ibrahim Traore should thank them for doing it. The chutzpah! Meanwhile, other nations, such as Russia, are building ties with Burkina Faso and showing Ibrahim Traore nothing but respect. This is him meeting Vladimir Putin in 2023, and since that meeting, Russia have reopened the embassy in Burkina Faso and the ties have become stronger and stronger. And look how the people of Burkina Faso reacted when they heard that Ibrahim Traore was coming back and landing back in the airport from that meeting. Watch this. Thousands of them went to meet him. Thousands. His people absolutely love him. As I explained in the video yesterday, it's no wonder when you consider the reforms that he's made to healthcare and education and how he's absolutely revolutionized the agricultural industry. You know, to my knowledge, just in the last 3 years alone, there has been at least 20 either coup attempts or assassination attempts that have failed in Burkina Faso and on this man's life. And as many people pointed out in the comments of my video yesterday, we in the world, good people of this world, we need to protect this man at all costs.
Hey, this how you know this is the greatest president they ever lived. They having a mega rally all over the world. Everybody is supporting Ibrahim Trio. You hear me? We gonna be live in Dallas City Hall on the 30th, man. I'm not playing with these people. Boy, I'm about to put on my red, my black, my green, and we about to take to the streets, and we gonna be the real ninjas that we supposed to be, and let them know that we support Africa, because guess what? Those are our brothers, our sisters, our family. Ain't no reason why we should be out here hating this and hating them and all this, because they brainwash us to make us believe that they don't like us and we don't like them. No, man. Them people ain't got none but love for us. That's why I'm representing, and that's why I be at Dallas City Hall on the 30th. I'm talking about we about to have fun. We gonna turn it to a block party. Bring your bottles, have fun. Post up, let's take to the streets and let them know that we here to reclaim our throne. You ain't gotta give me reparations when we can come together and take them. Real talk, I'm on that type of timing. Yeah, it's really like that, and I'm really like that. Trust me, boy, the Tamarian God is great. And thank you. I love y'all, Africa.
The world's youngest head of state, Captain Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso is grappling with persistent coup attempts. The latest plot was announced by the government on Monday night. Since coming to power in September 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traore has faced several attempts to overthrow him. On the latest foiled attempt, Burkinabe Security Minister Mahamudu Sana said that the country's intelligence services had intercepted communications on a major plot for an assault on the presidency on April 16th. It is said the plot was orchestrated from Abidjan, the capital of neighboring Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire has not commented publicly on the matter. The announcement came just a week after several army officers were arrested and stripped of their duties. Back in January 2024, the authorities announced that they had thwarted another coup attempt by a network of military personnel, some retired, some active and civilians, who conspired to destabilize the institutions of Burkina Faso. It said some of the people behind the plot were arrested. Earlier in September 2023, the government said a coup attempt was foiled by the security services. There have been no reported convictions in court over the alleged coup attempts. Burkina Faso's transitional president, Ibrahim Traore himself, came to power following a military takeover. His government has teamed up with Niger and Mali to form the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. This move marked a significant shift as these three countries broke away from the West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS, accusing it of leaning towards Western powers and failing to help them tackle rising insecurity. They have also cut military and diplomatic ties with France, their former colonial ruler, and expelled French troops from their territories. They strengthened ties with alternative partners, including Turkey and Russia. The military-led West African countries have repeatedly accused Western powers, particularly France, of attempts to destabilize them through neighboring countries. Despite these challenges, Captain Traore remains in power, but the frequency of coup attempts raises questions about the stability of the region.
Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader Ibrahim Traore, the youngest leader of any country in Africa, was just offered by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia to allow Saudi Arabia to build 200 new mosques in Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traore is a Muslim man, but he responded to Mohammed bin Salman with a different suggestion. He said, "I greatly appreciate your offer, but my people can pray anywhere. If the people of Gaza can continue to pray, why do my people need 200 new mosques right now? Maybe one day that would be great, but right now, the people of Burkina Faso need new hospitals, new schools, new jobs to simply stay alive amid the threats of Western aggression." This exceptional leadership from Ibrahim Traore exemplifies why the West has tried to unalive him at least 16 times now over the past 2 years. The West fears a truly sovereign and brilliant mind and a young leader like Ibrahim Traore who has the capacity to take Africa into a sovereign and free future.
Now let's talk about geopolitics for a moment. And I want us to focus on a very interesting thing that's busy happening in Africa. You might agree with this, you might disagree with this, but here we go. President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso is changing the economical, the political and the social landscape of his country in a major way. Now we know that he came into power through a military coup that took place towards the end of 2022. Now, if you look at his background, he did not have any formal political training or experience before coming into power. He's a military man, all right? He's part of the military. But what he is doing at this moment in time is sending shock waves throughout the political world. And it seems like at this moment in time, he's becoming the center of Africa's economic transformation. Now, what am I speaking about? His actions are seen to be quite controversial, and therefore there's a lot of people criticizing him at this moment, and there's a lot of people praising him. If you take a closer look at what he has done, especially the last 2 years, let me give you a couple of things that happened in that country. Number one, the government suspended France 24, which is a French news channel, accusing it of broadcasting false reports that undermined the national security of the country. There has also been broader restrictions placed on foreign media outlets, especially Western media outlets. Needless to say, those who are critical towards the country. country, stating that Burkina Faso needs its privacy. Now, if you look at, for example, the steps that he has taken or is taking at this moment in time to distance himself from former colonial powers, like, for example, France, that's why they kicked the French military out of the country. They literally came and said, you have to leave, you can't be here any longer. In the last 2 years, he has implemented several significant economic reforms since taking office. For example, he nationalized some of the gold mines, halting the export of unrefined gold to Europe and planning to withdraw certain mining permits from foreign companies. He wants to bring it in-house. He established local processing industries. He is very strong on enhancing agricultural support initiatives. In other words, to begin to produce their own food and to grow in the production of their own food. He is initiating agricultural modernization and has distributed 400 tractors, about 239 tillers, hundreds of motor pumps, etc., all in an effort to raise the production level of their crops. When it comes to financial reform, what he has done, he has reduced the salaries for ministers and parliamentaries by 30%, while increasing civil servant salaries by roughly 50%. And we can see him coming majorly against government corruption, or it seems to be the case at this moment in time. He also started paying off local debts and launched the Postal Bank of Burkina Faso with a capital of about roughly $25 million. Why? To improve the country's banking system. Because you can see that he is standing very firmly against the IMF and the World Bank. He's literally working towards getting Burkina Faso to stand on its own feet. There are significant investments that are being made in the infrastructure sector, including the construction of new roads, the expansion of existing ones, and upgrading gravel roads to tar. They're also busy with a brand new airport, which at this moment in time is under construction. So we can see that President Traore is focusing on expanding his country's self-reliance and industrial strength. And by doing so, in the process, he is defying the global financial institutions. And it seems to be widening the divide between Africa and the West. Now we know that Africa is one of the richest continents when it comes to natural resources. About 60% of the world's agricultural land is in Africa, yet Africa has remained poor. And there are several contributing factors towards that, all right? But some of it is lack of leadership, lack of skill, corruption in the governments, and an inability to utilize their own resources. So where this is going to go, we have to wait and see. But it does seem like he is rewriting Africa's governance. And can this become the blueprint for African governance in the future? Will other African countries follow his example? How long will this transformation last? And is it really sincere, or will corruption come into this whole equation? Let's see. Please feel free to share your thoughts and comments, but let's keep the conversation respectful and constructive. Let's focus on meaningful dialogue without insulting or using offensive language against Africa and the West. Let's keep it civilized. Let's comment.
Fam, it's been a tough few months for Ibrahim Traore. Things have not been easy. The guy has been overworking so much. He's been trying to push strides to ensure that the people of Burkina Faso are enjoying, what they should be enjoying. Look at the sector of agriculture. He's trying to make farming a thing in Burkina Faso. He believes that Burkina Faso can be without any problems, of famine. He wants to ensure that they have food. He wants to ensure that they produce foods for themselves. He wants to ensure that they are fully sufficient. Look at the education center. He's really pushing for reforms in the education. Right now, education is free in Burkina Faso. He's trying so much to create employment, for the youth of Burkina Faso, because he believes that the future belongs to the youth. Look at what other African countries are doing. Nothing close to what Burkina Faso is doing under the leadership of Ibrahim Traore. The guy has done so much in such a short period of time, since 2022. Right now we're in 2025. He's done so much for this country. Good reforms. Look at the roads that are being built. You know, the industrialization in Burkina Faso. These are some of the things that are threatening Western powers. These are some of the things that are threatening America and France. You know, France is so mad at Burkina Faso because right now they cannot be able to get gold deposits. They cannot be able to get a hold of the mineral deposits from that country. That's the same thing they've been doing for years in Congo. They want to ensure that the country is unstable, that they do not have peace. The same thing they did to Libya, you know, during the days of Gaddafi. They lied to us that Gaddafi was a terrorist. They said all those lies and we believed them those days. Right now we want to say that we are woken as a people. Black folks in Africa and all over the world are woke. Right now we have the internet. Right now we can be able, you know, to talk about these issues without any fear and ensure that we are ready should anything happen to our leader. We saw what happened to Libya after Gaddafi was killed. You know, it was a proud moment for America, you know, when Barack Obama announced that now Gaddafi is killed, now there will be a lot of democracy in that country and that things will start working. What is happening in Libya today? They lied to us, they fooled us, they saw a threat in this leader, you know. They saw a threat on Thomas Sankara. You know, they're afraid of these leaders who are vocal, leaders who can stand with whatever they think is right. They're afraid of these kinds of leaders, and that is what is happening right now with Ibrahim Traore. Right now I want to ask all people in support of Ibrahim Traore, even as we plan to march, let us also ensure that we pray for this guy. It's really difficult to be this guy at this point in time. It's so difficult. The guy is going through a lot of things. He even does not know who to believe and who not to believe, because people are being paid even in his own militia to ensure that he is dead, to ensure that he is assassinated, to ensure that he is out of power because he is a threat to the Western power. Homeland or death, we shall overcome. We must continue with our struggle. They have scared numerous heads of states. That's why they are silent. That's why we are not seeing any African leaders talk about this. The only person I saw talk about this vocally, you know, is Julius Malema from South Africa. I've also seen PLO Lumumba from Kenya talking about this rot that many leaders are afraid to address, especially heads of states. Shame on them. Shame on them, because now we're in a point that we want a revolution that would better Africa, a revolution that will better our land, a revolution that will better black people. The one time that we have a leader who we see a lot of hope in, you know, in this decade, they want to take him down. No, that is so wrong. We won't accept that as African people. We won't accept that. That is so wrong. There's been another coup attempt, according to the Minister of Security, you know, in Burkina Faso, involving several active military personnel and former members of the armed forces, which was planned for April 16th, around the same time that General Michael Langley was talking about the leader, you know, Captain Ibrahim Traore, saying that he's trying to take the gold deposits for himself. I really wonder about certain leaders like General Michael Langley. He knows very well the difficulties of black folks. He knows our struggles as a people. He knows our journey since the days of slavery, colonialism, and all those rotten things that African men and women were put through. He knows all these. Then he goes, you know, and speaks in front of an audience, talking about how Ibrahim Traore is not a good leader, how he is corrupt. You wonder what's wrong with certain leaders, especially people with African descent. Family, I really hope that we will stop being used by people who are hiding in power. It's a shame that that announcement was made via a black person. That's a very, very big shame. It's also unfortunate. Guys, I really hope that Captain Ibrahim Traore survives all these difficulties. I really hope that he stands with Burkina Faso and he shows Africa the way. He shows the world that we can actually do this. You know, guys, thank you so much for tuning to watch this video. Kindly like this video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users, and I'll be very, very grateful. Last but not least, kindly do consider subscribing to the channel. The goal of this channel has always been to talk about black stories, black history, and black empowerment. See you all in our next episode. We're on the road to 50,000 subs. Let's do it, guys, together. See you guys.